Hello and welcome to the Creating Podcast Ep.03, bringing the world of the formless into form and other true stories with me, the quantum mentor, Paul Webb. And thank you so much for joining me on this, our third episode. And do you realise that we are only one episode away from a month of podcasts? Unbelievable how time goes. And that's just the thing, right? Time goes whether you do stuff or not. So you might as well take use of the time you've got. And that kind of brings me in a roundabout way to the content today, which I want to just dive in and give to you. I'm going to call some of you out, I'm afraid. Not personally, because obviously I don't know you all personally. But this is a general call out. And it's something I see so very often. And it kind of really does bug me in some ways. Because I know what you really are. I know how powerful you really are. I know what kind of magic you can create in your life, because I see it every single day with my life, with the life of my clients, on my free Facebook challenges, and so on and so forth. So I can give you documented evidence of people creating real magic from scratch. And yet so many of you don't accept that can happen for you. And for me, that's a crying shame. It's almost criminal in my opinion. So this is a call out to those people that don't believe they can do it, to those people that believe it's okay for others too, that they're not lucky enough, that they weren't born under the correct star sign, that they come from the bad end of town, that they haven't got the resources or the abundance or the contacts, that they're in the wrong job, that they had the wrong parents, the wrong genetics, etc. We could go on and on and on rolling out these excuses, but I'm going to roll it back, and I'm going to start by just giving you some statistics. It's been calculated by people much cleverer than I that the odds on you being born as a human being today, with all the technology, all the security, all the opportunities available to you right now, and if you're watching or listening to this applies to you, that the odds on you being born now are some 400 trillion to 1. 400 trillion to 1. I'm going to have a gulp of water and let that sink in for a moment. What that means to me, my friends, is that you've already won. That age-old human thing of survival is pretty much guaranteed, especially if you're able to access this podcast. You probably have a roof over your heads, running water, sanitation. You have food on the table, the bills are being paid. You have a computer and internet access. You can contact anyone, anywhere in the world. You can access any information you want to find out how to do absolutely anything. Well, that can be a good or a bad thing, but for the point that I'm trying to make, it's a good thing. So there really are no excuses, and yet the majority of you act as if you've lost the game. You act as if you can't do anything to change the rules or the outcome. You act as if your life is set in stone. And I'm here to tell you today that that is not true. That in fact you've actually won already. And that everything else is the bonus level. So my question to you is, why not? Why not suspend disbelief at the very least and go on and start creating that upgraded, new, abundant, powerful quantum life I know you can? What are you waiting for? You're waiting for the stars to align, someone to give you permission to win the lottery? the odds would dictate that that's all very unlikely. And you don't need any of that to begin. You just need to begin. 400 trillion to 1. You've broke the bank already. 400 trillion to 1. That's a staggering statistic. Staggering odds you've overcome to be here now. Just 10 years ago, I couldn't have done this. It would have cost a fortune to hire a recording studio and to put this out, broadcast this. And now we can do it for virtually nothing. The cost of an internet connection and a mic and some software to edit it on. You don't even have to pay to upload it now. There really are no excuses. And I know not everyone wants to do a podcast, but this was my thing. I'd always said I would do a podcast. And yet I subscribed to that age-old excuse making that I couldn't do it, that I didn't have time, that no one would listen, that I wouldn't have content. And the only person you fool when you do that is yourself. Because there are people who are better off than you, who are the same as you, and who are worse off than you that are doing it. And if just one person can step up and do something, then you can do it too. We just mire ourselves in the past, don't we? And we think about things that have happened in the past as if that has a bearing today. It doesn't. It's past. It's gone. You're not the same person. Whether you know it or not, realise it or not, accept it or not, you change constantly. But what happens with most people is they replay the same narrative in their mind. And that narrative gives rise to their thoughts, which gives rise to their behaviours, which gives rise to their actions, which gives rise to their results, which leads to the emotions that drive the narrative that start the thoughts. And when you keep repeating the same day, every single day, year after year after year, that is what you get. We have this amazing, creative, imaginative, intuitive prefrontal cortex, this modern brain, and we use it to think of worst case scenarios and things that could go wrong in the future. What a waste. What a waste. And if you only knew how this wonderful life actually really worked, how reality worked, you would never use it for that. What if I told you that you create your reality every minute of every day, that everything you thought of, everything you believed, everything you said created the reality you see on a day-to-day basis? And what if I could prove that conclusively? Would you then watch what you thought? Would you then watch what you said? Would you then make sure that the actions you took were in line with what you really wanted? Well, it's true. It's true. And in just a few short weeks, I'm going to be bringing some people on here to give you some real life examples of all that I talk about. And we're going to go deeper and deeper and deeper in this, so you can bring forth what you want from the world of your formless into the world of your form. You see, unfortunately, most people today decide they are what they have, where they live, the clothes they wear, the cars they drive, the money they have in the bank, the title on their business card. And the problem with wrapping your identity up with these things is that when you start to lose these things, you lose your identity. That isn't you. You are the universe experiencing itself in physical form. You have a direct line to the quantum field of possibility, this universal divine, intelligent field of intention. And when you think of things in this physical realm, you trap yourself in the world of form with boundaries, with limits. And you trap yourself in the way of thinking in 3D form, with time and space as your constraints, you know. You can't break out of it. As Einstein said, you have to transcend the level of thinking that creates the problem to find the answer. And if you trap yourself inside this 3D world of form and limits and physical boundaries and finite thoughts, you'll never transcend to where you could go. You'll never be able to draw from this intelligent, infinite source that you're connected to, that permeates all space and time. So I'm going to give you how you transcend that. The best way I've come across is twofold. First is awareness. Awareness that you're not this thing you see in the mirror every day. Awareness that you're not this house, this mortgage, these bills, this car, this money, this name, this age. These are just physical ideas that we give ourselves. No other animal counts birthdays, you know. So becoming aware of that and then starting to ask questions about, okay, actually, who am I really? What is it I really want? How do I really want to feel? What am I prepared no longer to see in my reality? These are really important questions to start to ask yourself. And you do it from a place of calm and peace. So the second part of the equation is meditation. In order to access this field, which is a field of intention, you have to become like it. And that phone hasn't rung all day. And now I decide to record the podcast, the phone rings. But we carry on because that's what we do. So, you become aware of who you really are. And then you go into meditation. And in that meditation, you are trying to leave behind your physicalness. You are trying to become pure awareness, or as we say, pure consciousness. And from there, that is when you start to access this amazing field, and you can bring forth from the world of the formless into the world of form the reality that you really desire. It takes work, it takes patience, it takes deliberate practice. But when you start doing that and you leave behind the excuses that you make, and you show up every single day and do exactly what it is you say you are doing, you will start to see success, which is uncommon in normal hours, as I think Emerson said. That's all for today. A bit of tough love, maybe, but I'm in your corner fighting hard for you. And you have to understand that in order to get what you don't have now, you have to change everything. And you don't have to wait for some mythical date or some arrangement of whatever to start. You make a decision and you start right now. You don't even have to know how. You just have to start doing things differently. Start asking different questions. Start reading different books. Start watching different television programs. Start getting up earlier. Start doing different things. Change your morning routine. Change the way you go to work. Change the way you dress. Change the way you speak to people at work. Become the end thing now. You don't have to wait. If you want more abundance, act abundantly. Stop being scared to spend and handle and speak about money. Be abundant in all areas of your life. Laugh abundantly. Exercise abundantly. Even walk to the shops abundantly. And when you realise that you're creating your own reality every minute of every day, you become very, very careful what you think, say and do. So I hope that's been of help and service to you. And I hope you'll join me next week for episode number 4 of the Quantum Creating Podcast, bringing the formless into form and other true stories. Have a wonderful, wonderful week. I'll catch you very soon.